Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NDA Podcast. I'm joined by Kevin Wex, and today, it's a great day. It's a great day to be me. It's a great day to be listening to the NDA Podcast. It's a great day to be here. Thank you guys for joining me. And, we're going to go over the semifinal matches that happened. We're going to go over the finals match that happened, and then we're also going to get into some cheeky little awards that we have written up. And with your help, the patrons of the NDA server, we shall be granting awards to the different Pokemon and coaches deserving of them. So, without further ado, let's get right into it.
This is the last episode of the season 6, last episode of Sword and Shield era. It's been a ride.
Maybe the last episode. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe got some other things.
Maybe have some things up our sleeve, but we'll talk about that maybe a bit later. Maybe it'll just come out of the blue. Who knows? But yeah. Justin, you said it's a good day to listen to the NDA podcast. It's always a good day to listen to the NDA podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point.
So yeah. Where did we last leave off? Was it semifinals?
Yes. Justin can tell us about his match against Will.
Yeah, I can jump into this one. So, basically, I was very familiar with the Pikachu matchup, and I was aware that that thing could definitely just run through my team. It can't do that much to Dhelmise, but everything else it can do a lot of damage to. So, I just had to make sure I prepped properly so that I could be able to counter anything he wanted to do.
Now, Justin, where do you go when you want to prep properly?
If you want to prep properly, you go to Kev's Prep Shop. Now, at Kev's Prep Shop, you are able to get the best and the most well-thought-out prep that any other coach could possibly even think of giving. If you want the best quality, you go to Kev. If you want to win, you go to Kev. If you want to lose, you go to someone else. That's just the facts of it. You go to Wex if you want to lose. But no, so we had some really great prep, and because it was half me and half you.
Obviously, we're not taking all the credit over here.
Yeah, it was half me and half you, because you said we were prepping, and you said, "Here, I want to do something. I got this cool tech. I'm gonna change a move," and then you led Whimsicott, and I was like, "Oh, okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna do Worry Seed onto the slot that might be eating the Meowstic slot."
Yeah, so essentially, when Blastoise sees that Pikachu, Max Lightning, yikes, but you have a Togedemaru. So your play normally, swap out the Meowstic for Togedemaru. Pikachu can't hit you with that. So, Will knowing that as well, said, he literally, it is so funny that he just went for the strat right away. So you can continue talking about the strat, but yeah, it's the Whimsicott slot.
Yeah, so you use Worry Seed, it changes...
The Meowstic slot.
Yeah, you use Worry Seed, it changes whatever ability that Mon that you're using it on. It changes their ability to Insomnia instead of their actual ability. So the idea is you change, if my play is to max the Blastoise and switch out my Prankster Meowstic for Lightning Rod Togedemaru, the play is you Prankster Worry Seed, so you go first, you change the Togedemaru's ability to Insomnia, that way you can go for a Max Lightning with a clear state of mind, and you're able to, be able to roll the game after that, because now you can do whatever you want. Unfortunately for Will, I went to the Kev Prep Shop, and we were well prepared for that. So I was able to switch in to Togedemaru, but I did it on the other slot. And then after that, it was just kind of over. If I'll be honest, it was just gonna be smooth sailing.
Will's credit, it wasn't straight over, but we're in a much better.
Yeah, I was in a much better spot, and Brick Break on Pikachu was actually a pretty cool bring. But
you run screens on the Meowstic that much. Meowstic gets so many moves that I guess just to have it, that was a good call.
Yeah, it was good coverage. Unfortunately for Will, my set on Meowstic absolutely trounced anything that the horse wanted to do. Running Charm, running Reflect, there's just really nothing he could have done on his end to mitigate that sort of play. So it was going to be really rough. So game 1 ends up going my way. I was able to max Delmise. I think that was that was on turn 6 is when I max. When usually I max like first or second turn. You try to get in position so you can steamroll the game.
Oh yeah, if you have the Blastoise a good position, it kind of just makes sense. Just get that.
If Blastoise is in a good position turn 1, if Blastoise is in a good position turn 1, it just makes the most sense, obviously. But for this, it's just it was just luckily for me, optimal opportunity to max the Delmise, and I was able to mitigate as much as I could onto the Mudsdale, and I was able to run through the rest of the team. So I won that one 4-1. Unfortunately for me, I also have to face Will. It's kind of hard. So you can't really get a 2-0 victory over Will because he is a good coach, and he is someone that is just gonna be able to adjust properly. Unfortunately for me, I had to deal with Ally Switch Duskull, and it made me want to bash my head through my screen. And if I did, that probably just would have been an automatic FF, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard with this fucking. I hate Ally Switch so much, but
yeah,
it's just hard to do anything.
Feel good that was like the one thing that like hindered you was.
Yeah, Kevin, you're lagging a lot for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
that,
the one thing
like,
that did hinder me was the Ally Switch. And
I mean, just you can still talk about it. People are going to hear you anyway.
Yeah, Kev's struggling. Kev, just don't talk for now. Thank God.
So blondes anyway.
So blondes basically. But no, just the allies, the constant ally switching was very annoying, and it's like, does he go for the ally switch? Does he not? Etc. Etc. It's just very hard to deal with. And by the time I got rid of the Duskull, I was down to 20% on Blastoise. I had wasted my max, and it was just gonna be a rough go. I needed a lot of RNG to go my way for me to be able to pull out a win there, and unfortunately, I didn't. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I mean, it happens,
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not gonna get the dub because Ally Switch is a piece of shit. Honestly, if he had done Ally Switch game 3,
I don't know why he went away from it.
Yeah. I don't know why he was doing me that courtesy, but he went away from it, and it just allowed me to pull away in game 3. He led the same Pikachu and Whimsicott lead, and I just switched straight into Turtonator, putting myself in a good spot, forcing him to switch. And yeah, after that, it was just smooth sailing for me. Turtonator maxing was probably the best thing I could have done, and I had really good coverage as well. I had a max Rockfall just right for the Charizard just to help me out there, and just being able to see that I can double Charm while I protect with Turtonator, and then have everything like with the Reflect Up. Mudsdale can't do anything. I just can target right into the Charizard there and one-shot him. After that, it was After that, it was just kind of, smooth sailing, because now I have Reflect Up. Mudsdale's at -6 attack. It can't do anything. It's still maxed, but it really just can't do a thing.
Max Quake did 7% to Turtonator.
Yeah, and the Max Quake, when I was not maxed and he was maxed, it did 13%, and it's super effective. Body Press was still doing damage, don't get me wrong, but I had a Delmise in the back, so you really can't do that much to it. But yeah, after that, it was just slowly being able to chip it down with all of my moves and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, after that, it was just kind of smooth sailing, and I enjoyed that victory. It was a very hard-fought battle, but the Turtonator coming in clutch, as Kev was saying before. I think the podcast even started. Turtonator wins championships, and who knows? Maybe we see that in the next game. Who knows?
Well, we won't see it in the next game.
Yeah, we won't see it in the next game because we have to cover the other semifinal match.
Yeah.
Which we can jump right into. That was Quartz versus Swamp. So we have some very not very low seeds, but both of them were underdogs coming into their first playoff match, respectively, and they both won and were able to push through to the semis. Yeah, because Quartz beat Ryder, and he was a 7 seed and 2 seed, and then Swamp beat you, Wex, and he was a 6 into the 3.
Swamp was the king of Europe at the time already, though, so it wasn't that big of an upset.
That's true.
We'd already determined his royalty status. So.
In fact, I mean, I was just annoyed that I got matched up with fucking Swamp. Man just countered my team so well. I was like, I've come third in the fucking league, and I get matched up with Swamp, one of the people who've beaten me this season. I was like, I can't lie. I was like, ups to Swamp anyway, from my matchup point of view.
Yeah. But we can jump right into the first game for Swamp versus Quartz here.
This was a great series, and I wish I watched it live because it was a lot closer than I think people. No, I don't know. It was just really close. It was a pure semifinal playoff game, which we love to see. The U-turn from Diggersby into Vulpix and up the sun for Charizard was pretty cool. Get that board positioning of turn 2. Apparently Mimikyu didn't have Trick Room, it had Trick. So Swamp didn't even have Trick Room on Mimikyu, which is unfortunate.
Maybe it's just 100 IQ play that none of us know about.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
Sure.
He went with the Golurk max option for Swamp, which I think makes sense here. Facing the Charizard, it's its best way to deal with everything. I wonder what the full moveset was. If he had Fire Punch or something to deal with Ferrothorn. But I think that's a good call on Swamp's part. It's unfortunate he couldn't set up Trick Room. I think he'd be in a much better spot if he could.
Yeah.
Shout out Uwu the Vulpix for killing the Max Golurk with a foul play. Vulpix is a cool bring here. He showed in Prison, which I thought was interesting. Didn't really stop Swamp from doing much other than protecting. I thought it would have been cool. I don't think it gets it, which is why I don't think it works. But if Vulpix got Mystical Fire and you could stop the Hatterene from clicking it into the Ferrothorn, that would have been crazy. But I don't think that line gets Mystical Fire. I think that move is very spread thin. So, but Hatterene Quartz was looking in the driver's seat, and then Hatterene was able to freely get up Trick Room. And between Mystical Fire and Vulpix's lack of damage, it just got the job done. It 3v1 in the Quartz's team, which is impressive.
Quartz recognized that maybe his move priority there wasn't necessarily the best. I mean, clicking knockoff into Hatterene when you have a Ferrothorn, maybe it isn't the best idea to be clicking knockoff to try and scout for the item that Hatterene has. I mean, obviously it's important to know if it's weakness policy, or if it's life orb, or if it's a Berry or some other sort of item. But at that point, you have to ensure that you have the damage. You have to have the damage in the end game to be able to beat the Hatterene. So if you don't have that, you got to just suck it up and go for that Heavy Slam or Gyro Ball or whatever, Iron Head, whatever Steel type move you have that you want to use. You got to use it then. And I feel like if Quartz had done that, I mean, judging by the way Game 2 went, because this is a 3-game set, judging by the way Game 2 went, I could have been very well facing Quartz in the final, you know?
Yeah, I think an Iron Head plus quick attack. Like he still had the Diggersby and Vulpix.
I don't think he had quick attack on, did he?
No, I think he did. I think he showed it. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure I saw it. I think between Iron Head, quick attack, and foul play, he would have been fine. I think he would have got the damage needed for sure.
Wow, so he had quick attack and he decided not to go for the quick attack.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think he had it. I could be wrong.
No, he did. He showed it Game 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a bit of a miscue there. But, yeah, I mean, it was still close. First game.
I feel like Game 2 kind of went the same way. It just did an opposite. Like, I think Swamp held the momentum, getting Trick Room up early, and then Horse just had a max Charizard in the back to kill all 4 of Swamp's team. It was kind of wild. I mean, being able to set up... I mean, he can't run solar power, but being able to set up the sun for those max wildfires is kind of wild. And the fact that it was full health was clutch too, because it had to eat a Stone Edge from Golurk, and it didn't kill. Because that was pretty good calcs from Quartz there. Fair play. Charizard does not want to eat that hit from a big physical attack. It's not stab, but Golurk attack stats like 130 or something stupid like that. So shout out Quartz. That's a good calc to know.
Yeah.
And Charizard kind of cleans up Game 2, and we move into Game 3. A heated Game 3. We love a 4-3 Game 3. It's like all we can ask for in the semifinals. Like whoever wins that fully deserves to make the championship for sure. Watching it back here, Quartz goes back to the Charizard early. He goes back to his Game 1 lead, which is... Oh no, I'm watching the wrong game. That would be why he went to his Game 1 lead, because I'm watching Game 1.
Wow, well done, Kev.
Let's go back to the Charizard, but he loses the Ferrothorn early. I think if he just maxed Ferrothorn here instead of maxing the Charizard, he would have been in a much better spot. Because after that, I don't think there's a lot of things that Swamp could have done. I mean, you get rid of his max. Right, you're one of the slowest things on the field. I mean, I don't know. So 22 for Ferrothorn, 22 for S-Caps. That's still a speed tie if you're min speed both. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to imagine how Swamp would win if he maxes the Ferrothorn and one-shots the Hatterene there. I think that probably would have been a slightly better play on his end, but yeah, it is what it is. I mean, different decisions are made for different ideas of what you think is going to happen, and Quartz made some wrong calls, Swamp's made some right calls, and at the end of the day, that's all you need in a game, you know?
I want to say how wild it is. A Ferrothorn, as we all know, is a bulky, annoying bastard it does unfortunately have that 4x weakness. So you knew Hatterene was going to run that fire move. But the fact that Max Flare kills full health Ferrothorn in rain is that's wild to me. I feel like I don't think that's like a Cal Quartz does. I don't know if he expects Rain Dance on Purloin. But I feel like that should have something maybe he looked into. I don't know. Because that's a tough one to swallow. Like, rain usually protects the Ferrothorn, but it just didn't matter at all. So wild.
Yeah, no, the Life Orb Hatterene was so strong. I mean, obviously, like you said, having a 4x weakness to fire isn't going to be very, very nice depending on who you're up against. But, I mean, the fact that it's, special attacking, the fact that its Life Orb has such a high special attack, and it gets that Mystical Fire max flare coverage. I mean, it's hard. I mean, who knows? Maybe if he would have maxed, he would have been able to live. He would have been able to have enough HP to survive a max flare if he's not able to one-shot with the max Steel Spike. But I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, what we do know is that Swamp wins 2-1 for that side of the bracket, and we actually move on to the final.
So we got.
Now this is something I think I should probably keep talking about because I'm the one that was playing it. I do want to talk about game 1 if y'all want to jump in for game 2, but game 1 I was sitting in VC, and I think at the time it was me, Will, and actually for some background, I recently have not had any time to focus on Pokemon or prep at all like the prior week, so I had no prep. Basically, I just took my team that I used against him the first time I played him, and I made some tweaks. I changed some things around and tried to make sure that I was able to cover for certain things. Like, as you'll see, Misty Terrain in Game 2, that was mostly for the idea that Will-O-Wisp could go on to Dhelmise and things like that. And I'd also be able to avoid getting spored by Shiinotic. Wasn't necessarily thinking about the Gmax Smite Confusion avoidance, but it just so happened to work in my favor when I used it. But just having like different coverage things and things like that. Like game 1, I started off with a Iron Defense Blastoise. Now this wasn't because I was running Body Press. In fact, I was still special. I just wanted to be able to survive against anything that he tried to throw my way with the Pangoro or with a possibility of Escavalier. But look at game 1. I started up.
He played so
Pangoro
heavily in body press stuff. Like he really thought you were just gonna be clicking body press.
Yeah, which was kind of very, very beneficial because I knew that's what he was thinking. I knew he was thinking, okay, it's body press. Okay, he's probably going to hit into Pangoro. So the thought process was, in my head, I was thinking, okay, if he has Ally Switch on the Mimikyu, this will one-shot it. It gets rid of one of the Trick Room options, right? And then I bait out the Ally Switch, and it's like it's found. So that's one of the reasons why it doubles a Steel Spike. But the main reason, and this is circling back to what I was started off saying, I was in VC with Riolu and Will. They were listening muted, and I was thinking to myself out loud. I was like, okay, I have this +2 defense. I have a Turtonator out in the field that ate a dark move from Pangoro, as I wanted him to. I had a lot of defense into the Turtonator, a lot of investment. The idea was, I was like, okay, he's probably going to switch into Hatterene because he thinks this is body press. And this would be a great time for him to click Trick Room on the Mimikyu to just set himself up for success. So I was like, okay, fuck it, we ball. I decided I'm going to double target the Pangoro slot with a max Steel Spike and a Flash Cannon. And
like even if he didn't switch, you would got the defense boosts. Like you were still going to be in a decent spot.
Exactly. And then at that point, I probably would have max flared the second turn. So if he did switch, or if I did kill him, I would have been still in a pretty decent spot. It wouldn't have been as beneficial for me. But yeah, so I double target the Hatterene turn 2, and I'm able to 2-shot it. Luckily, I'm able to scout for the weakness policy, and I get the special defense drop. I don't know how much that actually mattered for me, getting the special defense drop with the Flash Cannon. I don't think it mattered at all. I mean, I'm maxed. It's not that sort of thing. I think I still am able to kill it without the special defense drop, but that happens, and he sets up Trick Room with the Mimikyu, and now it's like, okay, now I'm going to have some speed control over the Pangoro. I'm just going to max Steel Spike again and just keep eating this damage, and he's not able to do anything. So after that, it was kind of just a smooth sailing from there. But I really did call out the switch into Hatterene. It just made a lot of sense on his end, and it's a championship defining play. It's just one of those things that you need to be able to win. And luckily, I had it go in my favor. And if I didn't, I probably would have lost. But I still would have been in a decent spot to be able to try and maybe claw back some differential. But yeah, that was game 1. If you guys want to talk about game 2, I know I've been talking a lot this podcast. But yeah.
I mean, rightfully so, because the game 2 wasn't maybe as comfortable as game 1, but I would still say it went pretty smoothly. This Meowstic Blastoise lead has had the league on wraps all season. It just hasn't been fun for anyone. I would like to add. I don't think anyone would say they had fun against that lead. I'll give some credit to Swamp here. I remember we talked about it a little bit. The friggin' Purloin lived the max cannonade plus residual. That was pretty impressive.
Insane.
I think in the pace it was max HP, max special defense,
which was really cool. I think where Swamp lost this game was turn 2 when he had the fake Tears Blastoise and didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
You were able to set up Misty Terrain, and then he didn't target your Maxmon, who was just able to sit there and do a ton of damage.
I mean, yeah, if he attacks the Blastoise on turn 2, I feel like you're in a shaky spot, really. More shaky, let's just say that. Because I know Delmoise is good and all, but I feel like Blastoise was your main reasoning. And like if he just sat there with a Shiinotic, the second Misty Train's over, you've kind of lost there. But again, if you played around it well, he probably went for something different. He knew that he couldn't really beat and the Meowstic Blastoise by itself, so tried something different by getting rid of Meowstic. Or at least trying to get rid of it first. He probably assumed that it would die into Gmax Smite, but assumptions and rolls are part of the game. So I mean, it was probably just a bit of a desperation move at that point. But I mean, other than that, could have played a bit better. But with Turt as well in the back, like I feel like you would have been fine realistically. Like your Turt is strong.
Yeah, I mean, he would have had the SCAV. He would have had the SCAV answer anyway. So it's like,
yeah, like if I'm not able to do that damage to Shiinotic to finish it off, I have, Turtonator in the back that can click Heat Wave. I have, Delmise that can't even get spored. If you want to, go into the theory of trying to stall out Misty Terrain, which lasted until turn 6.
The only scenario where you really get in trouble is if Hatterene lives until the end somehow and Shiinotic gets a spore off on Turtonator. I think is the only scenario really where they're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Realistically, Hatterene and Shiinotic, they low-key wall hurt, but once Hatterene is gone, it's game over. Really, for him with Turt in the back.
Yeah. Because I just have this, because there's no Trick Room up, I still have the speed. But I do want to talk about the turn 1, why I clicked Fake Out instead of anything else. I clicked Fake Out into the Hatterene. I wanted to
You just covered options.
Yeah. It's just, if he decided he wanted to stay not maxed in Trick Room with the Hatterene, I was like, okay, I'm going to fake you out, and then I'm going to do damage to the Purloin. Hopefully it goes. It did not, unfortunately. Didn't have enough special attack invested into Blastoise, unfortunately. Couldn't do that. But yeah, so if he decided he wanted to Trick Room with Hatterene, I would have been able to stop it. If he decided to do Max Guard and Copycat, I would have been able to stop that because he would have just faked out with the Purloin, because I'm faster with Meowstic. My Prankster's better.
I'm better.
Yeah, so that was the thought process behind it. Same reasoning for Misty Terrain. If he decided he wanted to Max Guard and then Copycat Trick Room, I would have had the Misty Terrain go up first, so that way he would have also clicked Misty Terrain. Don't know if it would have offset it. Does that offset the Misty Terrain? And then if he G-Max... Actually, no. Because if he's doing that, he wouldn't G-Max Smite. No, because I'm just thinking, if he max guards and then I Misty Terrain, but he copycats the Misty Terrain and uses it again, does that offset the Misty Terrain?
No, it's not like Trick Room. It wouldn't like reverse it. It just would fail.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so that just would have been a bad turn for him in that scenario. So, yeah, I mean, that's the reasoning why I did that game too, and it just worked out so that I didn't get confused, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall your strategy was just he had nothing for it. I thought this whole time, like when I was like looking, because obviously we talked about prepping, but never really got to it. So I was like building stuff for him, and I was like, I thought SCAV would be the leader because normally Black is a special. A lot of your team is weak to steel and bug, and even if it's not weak bug, the bug max move from SCAV lowering special attack is really big, I think, against your team. So if you ran something like that, I feel like you'd be in a tough spot. Like big ground coverage, it gets real run. The bug moves would delete Meowstic, lower special attack. Kind of didn't lean on it like I thought he would, which is I had a strat going in there to do. But
I think it's just to kill Meowstic one shot.
But like SCAV does that way better. Yeah, I just think SCAV does it way better, and Mimikyu is really hard to get rid of right away. Like I feel like if you just set up Trick Room and went SCAV, you'd be in a whole better. I mean, you had the Turt, so but like if Trick Room's up, Life Orb Quake plus like some help from Mimikyu or something. I don't know. You'd be in a alright spot. I don't think Turt would get deleted, but I think SCAV would have went really well here. Maybe Turt just scared him off.
He would have chunked my Turtonator for sure. I had a lot of defense investment in the Turtonator. Actually, I can actually pull up the calc here. Not the calc, but I can pull up the actual paste. Let's see. Because I don't know if it was max defense. I think it was though. Team builder.
See, Turt needs HP.
Yeah, so
I would never put defense in Turtonator only because its HP is bad, and you're also versing a Hatterene that is special. Like if you just like I feel like a max fairy move just deletes Turtonator, even if it isn't super effective.
So I had 172 EVs and HP. I was 252 plus for defense, and then I was
that weakness policy.
Yeah, and then I was 84 special attack. So then my HP comes out to be 157, my defense is 205, and then my special attack's 122. If you factor in weakness policy and like me baiting it, then I'm in a pretty solid spot. So against SCAV, Turtonator definitely would have been my answer. Whether or not it would have been the best answer, I'm not too sure. But
yeah, I wonder how much a max move does in a non-max move Turt.
I can always do Meowstic for a charm. And that sort of thing, so I can mitigate even more damage. Yeah, so it was just I needed the Blastoise to try and Blastoise and Dhelmise to try and get rid of Hatterene. That was my answer for that, and it worked out. So happy about it. That was the final. Yeah.
Justin is our champion.
Calls are in order, please.
No one would have saw that coming. No.
I did.
I think Justin. We all talked about Wex's draft being really good, but I think low key Justin won the league on draft.
Very good.
On paper, I don't think Justin's team is intimidating, but
it was an offense.
It was not like your standard picks, but
offensive picks.
Plus, we also had never seen Dhelmise. This is the first season anyone ever used Dhelmise in NDA, and I question everyone's life choices after watching Justin use it this year.
It was, the difference between mine and Justin's, like, Blastoise was bulky, but it could also deal a lot of damage with the Cannonade. That offensive pressure is so vital to Blastoise, and having a great support like Meowstic really helped, and Togedemaru for the fake out. Like, everything. He had a mode for everything. Like, he had a Trick Room mode for Turtonator. He had and Aromatisse. He had, and Dhelmise even to an extent. you had like your offensive fast, like Blastoise, Meowstic, Togedemaru, like that is set for everyone, and like whereas like on paper you might like overlook that, like realistically, basically won you the league. Like just be
I want to look at your transactions again.
Got Aromatisse
grace
and
period transactions.
Aromatisse and Delmise.
Was it Aromatisse?
Aromatisse and Delmise for Abomasnow, Kofa, Grigus. Probably why.
That won you the league right there.
Yeah.
Your grace period transactions. How Aromatisse didn't even get drafted. Dropped Kofa, Grigus, and Abomasnow for Aromatisse, Delmise.
Yeah, well, the Abomasnow draft was because I thought Arthazol could use Slush Rush. I didn't know it was hidden ability, and those weren't allowed on fossils, so yeah.
That's what a grace period. That's wild. I take it back. It wasn't your draft. It was your grace period transaction. But that was huge.
My draft was still like solid. It's just like those two picks were really just rough. So also, I didn't want to have Kofa, Grigus, and a Meowstic. I feel like that's kind of not too great when trying to prep. Because then a max like dark or ghost move really just screws me over. So yeah, that's why I had to switch it to a fairy type Trick Room setter. Yeah, I mean, and it worked out. It worked out in the end, and I'm happy about it.
You got your button clicker in there. You know, you
always need one prankster mon, like a very solid prankster mon. That's always necessary on the team. I don't know why some people just don't, like, they overlook it. Like, it's so helpful to have that sort of support. It's all about survival in this game. If you can set up a reflect, if you can fake tears to eliminate different opponents, if you can, mitigate, like that sort of thing, like those are so important. It's not just all about damage. And I think over the course of the season, that's what I really started realizing was more important, because earlier on in the season, I was using a lot of Shell Smash for my Blastoise, which easily gets countered if you know it's coming. And while it is nice to have a Shell Smash and then be able to run through a team, the odds of you being able to do that with something that's going to try and one-shot you, it's just not very high. So being able to switch to more bulky sets, so I'm running now Assault Vest, I'm running, I use Assault Vest a lot, I'll be honest, and just being able to mitigate damage, in the playoffs using Screens, Charm, whatever I can to try and mitigate damage, that sort of thing. Really, I
feel like Shell Smash also limits your item choice.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you're forced to run White Herb, and it's just like,
I tried to force Shell Smash in some matchups that just it really didn't feel as good. If I just used maybe a different strategy or a different move set in general, maybe I would have been better off for it. But I think that was the biggest takeaway, and just really understanding how my team works, and learning and understanding the synergies that coincide with each other. I think that allowed me to win the league.
Yeah, I think your Trick Room mode was obviously pretty good, especially against teams that didn't have a great way to stop it. And Blastoise being... You didn't really have great speed, but you didn't need great speed because of Blastoise's bulk. And I think the residual damage, man. I think like over Venusaur G-Max and Charizard G-Max in this Draft League format, the bulky water and doing the residual chip it was so undervalued. Like I feel like it wasn't on people's radars as much as it should have been.
And I want to check this 1 second. And I said this when I was drafting too. I understood that Rillaboom was going to be a non-factor in the draft or in the league in general. There wasn't going to be
because the starters didn't get their hidden abilities.
Exactly. So there's not going to be a G-Max Rillaboom I have to worry about. There's not going to be a regular Rillaboom. There's not going to be a Thwackey that I need to worry about. Grassy Glide was going to be null and void. It wasn't going to be used as... I used it. But for other people, they're not going to use it, and they're not going to think about using it. So grass moves are just completely, gone out the window. The only grass moves I really had to worry about were going to be from Mons that don't
were
have
maxing and
stab.
clicking. Yeah, like they
Yeah,
wasn't stab. It was like an energy ball or a Giga Drain here in the Grass Knot from Pikachu. Like it just wasn't enough.
That's the only thing I have to worry about grass-wise. So if I could just cover my bases with a Lightning Rod Mon, I was going to be pretty fine because nothing is really going to be able to do strong, super effective damage into me, especially if I'm running Bulk, an Assault Vest, Charm, Reflect Light Screen, like those sorts of things. So that's what I noticed that before the draft even started, which is why I wanted to get the G-Max Blastoise, because I did value the water type, especially in this meta where we're not using hidden abilities for the Mons, and reverting back to the pre-Isle of Armor state of the game. So
there just isn't. Rillaboom is like peak grass offense, and I think the only thing you struggled with other than that was like Choice Band Trevenant. I think that was like the only grass mon that gave you any issues throughout the entire season.
Literally, yeah.
Which is just like the grass offensive output. Oh, and Blossom, but that was for a different reason.
Well, Blossom was just because it was annoying, but
yeah.
It's not because I wasn't ever in a trouble with a grass type mon that was maxing. Like, I had never had that happen against me. Mostly because grass type is really underutilized, especially because just Sword and Shield doesn't have too many great options. I mean, I picked up Dumb Eyes, but
in the meta, certain metas, it's just like Rillaboom is just the staple, and it's just not, it's just not what Rillaboom is. So it's just like there's things like Serena and stuff like that, but like just not as good in this format. So it's just
Serena's good.
Meta types, but
Serena was good. It's just like I think Mao had Serena.
Yeah, it just didn't have anything for Blastoise is too bulky, man.
Yeah. It was hard to deal with the Blastoise. The bulk gives it too much value. Pair that with the G-Max version giving you the residual with the Cannonade. It was hard.
It would have been a fun mon into your team. Rotom-Mow. If someone had Rotom-Mow.
Oh yeah, but that's when Togedemaru comes into play, and
it's got the max Leaf Storms.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah, but hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, the team was good. I think the overall arcing theory is Turtonator wins championships.
Puts Turtonator up with Whimsicott with two wins and a runner-up in the most decorated Pokemon category.
Togedemaru won another one, yeah. I was talking about it with Justin, looking at his roster to see who already won. Togedemaru won with Ryder, right?
There's 5 Mons who have won it more than once. I want to see who's still...
I could probably... Wait, Togedemaru, Turtonator, Whimsicott, Togekiss, and probably Lapras.
2 of them are wrong. The last 2 are wrong. So Turtonator, Whimsicott, and Togedemaru. You're missing 2.
Lapras has won it twice. Ryder won it season 1. Justin won with it season 2.
Yeah.
They won back to back.
Was it G-Max Lap though?
G-Max Lapras won it once, and the regular Lapras didn't win it.
No, Ryder had it season 1.
Is this flawed?
You're wrong then, because he had it. I will pull up my receipts. Season 1 doc.
Oh yeah, wait. I have it down here as 1-1, but I have him down as winning season 1, season 2. But it only marks. I messed up the formula there.
Yeah, Ryder's won with it twice. Normal Blastoise had won it with Ryder, not G-Max.
Yeah.
Those are different.
I'm just double checking now for everything.
I'm trying to think who else. So definitely Blastoise. I'm not Blastoise. Definitely Togedemaru, Lapras, Whimsicott, Togedemaru's won it twice.
Yep.
Turtonator's won it twice.
Yep.
Whimsicott's won it twice.
Yep.
Lapras has won it twice. Togetic's won it 3 times.
Yeah.
There's another one?
Yep.
Ooh.
Actually, and it's funny because it was on your team.
It was on my team?
Yeah.
So it wasn't Rillaboom, I don't think.
So Justin and Ryder have never had this mon. So who won it with
It was between me and you.
Yeah.
Who the hell? I'm trying to think of my team. I had Stack, I had Rillaboom, you didn't have either of those.
It was more
Ninetale.
prevalent on my team at the end.
More prevalent on your team at the end. I mean, I can look it up, but I don't want to.
Think of my playoff run.
The only thing in my brain of your playoff run is you click buttons.
So, how did I win against Will?
Well,
You cheated.
probably. How the fuck did
It was a combined effort between Whimsicott and another mon.
You had Entei, you had Dracovish, you had...
Was it Entei?
No, I never had Entei. Fudge. You didn't have Conk.
No.
You had Cobalion. So it must have been like a B.
That's
It
easy.
must have been like a B tier.
Was a B tier.
Dude.
It was in my match against Will. I end up winning after Will clicked Protect with Melodic.
You encored his
Whimsicott
ass.
encored it, and I was able to set up with something.
Oh, Mesprit, the goat.
Go.
There we go. I remember now. I didn't look that up. I there's no proof, but I did genuinely remember that.
Mesprit was a goat. I love Mesprit.
So 6 mons I've won twice. At least twice.
I'm gonna re-look at this thing because I might have got the formula wrong in this, but yeah, oh well. Definitely have got it wrong somewhere
Alright.
else.
Well, speaking of accolades such as that, I think we can swiftly transition into our awards for the season. Once again, congrats to Justin for winning, but it's not the only award other than winning the championship. We have to do this every year. Do you guys just want to go through the...
Cut out. But,
I was like, do you guys want to go through it?
yeah.
I was like, okay, Kevin.
And then
I think Kevin's a lost cause. Just
awards. I feel like
I think he's back. No, he's
Is he
not.
back?
Oh, is he?
goes. That cut out.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh my.
I did it again.
Oh,
All right.
Oh my.
All right, Wex. Let's I'll go through the first one. So for a lot of these,
Hold on, I'm back. And we should go through the team.
I think he's saying go through the teams first, but I don't know. Kev just type.
we'll go through the teams first. We're
Yeah.
just gonna assume that's what Kevin means.
Yeah.
So all NDA first team, we have. Drumroll, please. We have Arcanine for UX. We have Torkoal, Blastoise Gmax, Primarina, Grimmsnarl, and Dragapult. Those are our top 6. This has been decided through the games that they've come to, the sets that they've played, the kills that they've racked up, their utilization for the team, how important they were, the focal point, that sort of thing. Obviously, Arcanine, Torkoal, Blastoise being staples on myself, Wex's, and Gummy's teams. Primarina coming to, I think, every single match.
Yeah, Prim was big for Mel.
Mal.
Mel would have Primarina carried Mel's team. To being honest, like Prim was a great pick.
Yeah, Prim was great. Grimmsnarl, because I mean this thing just did straight up damage. The amount of kills it could get, and then having the flexibility to be supportive if it wanted to, if he so chose to, with your boy's team. And then Dragapult on Ryder's team was very influential for a lot of his matches, and I know it definitely gave me a lot of trouble. It gave a lot of people a lot of trouble. So we just had to put it on for the All NDA first team.
I want to put some more support mons on, but we couldn't justify it as much. Yeah, like Dragapult and Grimmsnarl could be used as support mons realistically. Don't know how or why. Everyone, like Boy and Ryder use them very offensively this year. Like,
Yeah.
in theory, you'd expect like a Grimstar or Dragapult to be more supportive. Well, maybe not the extent of Dragapult, but Grimstar definitely you'd expect. Just go set up screens, trick, like have fuck around with all different teams. But he just sat there clicking max, whatever it is. I don't even know what the max move is called. But he wasn't G-Max, was he? He just clicked max moves on people and killed them straight up. No remorse for anyone's life.
Yeah. I think the only support mon that could like really justify getting in there would have been Whimsicott, because not only did it support Will's team all season, it also racked up 13 kills. Like, that's pretty impressive.
I feel like with that we can nearly move straight on to the second team.
Yeah, Whimsicott can transition us straight into the second team.
Whimsicott headline the second team for Will with Meowstic. Excadrill, which is shared between Kevin, Germ, because both of them had it.
Mostly Germ.
Mostly Germ.
Shout out to Germ.
Kev, just trying to get a title off someone's back, Yeah. Hattery.
It was a last chance pitch at making something out of my season.
Hattery and G-Max for Swamp. We had Max, Snorlax, G-Max, big, massive Lax. I was going to say something else, but big Lax providing a lot of utility for Mac. And then, of course, Delmise for Justin, which we've already talked about how good it was. Just sneaking in there for the second team. Yeah, it was great performance by all these mons, especially like the support mons near the top, and then the rest of them are just more so like offensive pressures. I provided so much utility for everyone, so deserved to be there. There was a lot of mons that could have snuck in. We'll go through them in a little bit. Through our support defense teams and our B and C tier teams, but the first and second teams, some places where people could sneak in, but overall I think we hit it pretty well on the head. I think.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the stats, I mean, it just makes a lot of sense for what we talked about here. I mean, Meowstic, I'll just speak for my mons personally, because Meowstic came to almost every single match. Dalmise was crucial for my late season push. Now, this does not, I just want to clarify, this does not include any sort of playoffs. If it did, I would have vouched for Turtonator and B tier, but unfortunately it does not. So, yeah, that's why the decisions are made as so. And obviously we're not trying to be biased, but Dalmise, Meowstic did come a lot, and they did a lot of work. I don't think that can be denied by anybody. Literally being the main focal points of a top 4 team. So
it's not really biased when the winner of the league has 3 mons in the first and second team. Like, fair enough. Like, if he or Kev had it, but like I had 1 mon and Kev had 1 mon. It's not really biased. It's more so just like just in one league. This is why.
And also, I want to make it clear. I did not have a lot of input in this because I was looking at my phone texting. I think the voice can vouch for me. I wasn't really saying much when we were deciding. I had to ask like what was going on a couple of times. So,
yeah, he was distracted by something. We won't mention what.
Yeah, no. When your girlfriend texts you, it's like she's like something like leading, like a negative leading like sentence, like, guess what bad just happened to me. It's just like, what the fuck? Why? Just fucking tell me. Like, you don't have to like say like, oh, the worst thing just happened to me. It's like, okay, fucking say it. Like, you know what I mean? So
but here's a real question, Justin. If she was a worm, would you still love her?
Oh, I already told her this. I said no. I'm not. You can't fuck a worm. As much as I've tried, it just doesn't.
That's the age-old question that everyone needs the answer to. And now you're going to be single in 5 minutes once she.
Did you just say?
Yes.
Did you just say as much as you've tried?
No. So
moving on to the All NDA support team.
So All NDA support team. We have Purloin from Swamps. Yeah.
Exactly. We have Purloin from Swamp's team. Get ready to hear that name a lot. We have Meowstic again and Whimsicott, who we previously heard in the second team. Oranguru from the Rhyme City Rhydons. We have Mr. Mime Galar from Max BC Butterfreeze, and female Indeedee from the main Mudkips. They're all pretty self-explanatory, really. Purloin was one of the Mons who was on the verge of second team. It had so much versatility really throughout the season, and one of the surprising main reasons that Swamp got as far as he did, really. It's a really impressive performance from Purloin. You're going to hear that a lot, I won't lie. Support teams just kind of was able to support. I personally wanted Doug True in there, but was shot down pretty quickly because it only came for like 2 games.
Maybe if it maybe if it clicked ally switch.
Yeah.
Maybe if it clicked ally switch one more time.
Facts.
It would have been equal with the Oran Guru.
That was depressing. But oh well. I still can't believe that.
We also on the NDA podcast we don't condone ally switch as a form of support. I just want that to be known. It's toxic gameplay.
Yeah, but, hear that, Will? That Duskull's a piece of shit.
But no, I feel like we had to pay homage to Griffin's Oran Guru, as it has been a staple
for the league
for 6 seasons.
It's actually insane. Like, Will is gonna, or not Will. Griff's gonna pick him as the first overall pick next season. Oran Guru might not even be in the game. It probably won't be in the game. Will's just gonna pick.
Griffin's gonna be on suicide watch when Oran Guru isn't in the Scarlet Violet Pokedex.
If the Oregon Oran Guru don't make an appearance next season.
I'll be honest, boys. I'm so excited for next season when we have Scarlet Violet Pokemon out. Oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. The format's going to be completely changed with all the new mons, new abilities, new moves, new gimmick. It's going to be so much fun to try and learn and try to do it. And I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm really looking forward to ground, was it? Oh, no, electric type Shedinja with air balloon. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
It'll be banned.
Oh my!
If it's in the game,
if it's in the game, I will cry. Oh my!
It will be banned immediately.
Facts, but yeah. Speaking of mons that can't be touched, nice little segue with the all NDA defense team.
I think you spelled defense wrong.
No, it's the UK way of doing it.
Did you put a C? You put a C at the end?
So.
That's how they spell it over there across the pond.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Defense. Yeah, that's what we spell it. Y'all spell it weird, like.
Nah, that ain't it.
That's pretty.
It's just defense. That's like slang, you know.
All I'm saying is, right,
there.
you guys, your guys, American football fans, do put up the letter D and then a fence. So even you're admitting that it's right.
Defense. No. Yeah, honestly, I don't have a stake in this.
It's symbolism.
Anyway, all NDA defense team. Leading off, we have Milotic for San Diego Raichu's. Riders, Milotic is nasty.
That thing screwed me. It actually screwed me.
Never died.
I think it was the first
It used Recovered. It used Coil. It just doesn't die.
Probably is if we bother to calculate, probably hit the most turns on the field of any mon. Surely.
Screw that mon, dude.
Possibly. Following up on that, we have Aromatisse from my team.
Low-key fraudulent. No one attacked it. It sat there because people just let it sit there.
Yeah, but I mean, it also always had a resistance berry and had high HP. So, I mean, naturally, statistically wise, like, yeah, it's a pretty bulky mon, but with the resist berries to just ensure Trick Room goes up, not too bad. Blastoise G-Max from my team as well. Umbreon.
Oh my days, Umbreon. Oh my god. PTSD.
We also had Runerigus, right, Kev? And then Mudsdale.
I don't want to talk about Runerigus either. Runerigus deserves to be
fuck you.
Runerigus swept my team.
You didn't have to play your boy. You weren't traumatized.
I was traumatized. Did you see my game against him in like week 3?
No, I'm talking about Justin.
Yeah. Runerigus just came. His game, or the game that he brought Runerigus against me was the first time he brought it, and it just swept my team. It's like, I just can't believe this. I've just got stuff by Runerigus after I used that a few seasons ago and hated it. I can't believe this.
I played against it well, and it still didn't matter. It was great.
Oh.
It was very toxic. Speaking of toxic, shout out Gummy versing the Umbreon. A little spoiler: it didn't win match of the year or anything. It did have a vote, but the Gummy missing a bunch of sleep powders, getting no energy ball drops, as Umbreon just sat there and deleted Gummy's team in the Stallfest in a 32 turn match.
Oh, that honestly could have been
arguably
the luckiest moment for.
Yeah.
But we decided on something else. So that's cool.
Oh yeah, how do we not pick that? We might have to have a mid podcast.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go through that anyway. We'll go through that in a little bit. And then the final mon was Mudstale from the Boston Red Sox and Will. Stale is just always such a bulky bitch. Like, Stale has been on probably the most all defensive teams, I'd imagine.
Most of them.
It's just
if you don't have Prankster, Reflect, and Charm like some people, it's very hard to deal with.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is why you draft Prankster, because then you get those opportunities.
Yeah, he's not wrong. To be fair. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to NDA B tier team. We'll just go through the list here. We have Golurk from Moss Deep City Mudkips, Swamp's team, Pikachu G-Max from Riolo's team, Umbreon, obviously, from Quartz's team, Vaporeon, another obvious one. Did you know? Aromatisse from my team, and then Lapras from Quartz's team as well. Very, very bulky mons. Did not like dying. Refused to. A lot of bulk here, not a lot of straight up damage.
Other than Pikachu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, Pikachu definitely isn't living a lot of.
Golurk, to be fair.
Yeah, but you can run Assault Vest on Golurk and really mitigate because it has a high HP stat if I do remember correctly.
Yeah, Golurk was a little bit of both, I would say. I feel like most of these mons weren't even max mons, but the Golurk and Pikachu. Golurk got a lot of his bulk from maxing as well. It was a good max candidate all season.
Just in general. I don't really need to talk about much of these mons really more. I think we can just nearly move straight on to the C tier team.
Shout out Germs Vaporeon.
These are for
has a lot of great moments.
Golden moment.
Yeah, did you know?
Did you know?
We're not gonna talk. No, we're not talking C tiers.
Leading the line is Kev's Mantine, who got the most kills of all C tiers.
I got an award.
There was an argument for your Roam as well, but
No, it was a weak
it
argument.
wasn't a fan.
It was a weak argument. I looked at the stats and I was like, you know what?
No,
No.
I wasn't a fan of the pick.
It did more in my brain and in prep.
I wasn't a fan because it's Rotom fan.
I didn't even pick up on that.
It's okay. Some of us aren't as smart.
Yeah, you know.
We have Slurpuff for Ryder. Another thing that would have been on the defensive team. Thing just didn't die. Just there the whole time.
Yeah. Dude was clicking. Who preps for Iron Defense, String Shot, Slurpuff, bro?
Ryder's literally built different. Fan favorite pick next. I'll pick Alola. Attract Shenanigans for Germ. Oh my days. I love this thing.
He brought it a couple times, and it set up screens. It attracted things. It did decent for support in C tier. Shout out Vulpix.
Yeah, also set a Pale too, which is always very nice.
Again, Purrloin. You're gonna hear that name a lot again. It's good this season. That's all I have to say anymore.
Purrloin, I wasn't really. My mic wasn't working at the time, but. Purrloin could have got all second team, but we knew it was going to be in its own team over here. It was just a staple across the season as an annoying little piece of shit, for lack of better words to describe it.
This season's Riolu, I think. That is a good way to put it.
Yeah, Gummy with the Riolu way back when was quite annoying.
Yeah, coaching shenanigans do be hard.
We have Will's Pikachu, not G-Max, regular Pikachu. Again, just doing work. And then we have Gummy's Hitmonchan. Came to a surprising amount of matches and did a surprising amount of work as well.
That was Gummy's. Gummy clicked 2 buttons with that Pokemon. He clicked Fake Out and he clicked Close Combat. And that thing would have like -4 defense, but it was just still sitting there collecting Close Combat.
Because like realistically, why would you target it if it's just it's on my I can hit it with a Fake Out and it'll probably die. Here, like, I'll leave it. And then it just bops your whole team with a Close Combat. It's like, what the stop it. Yeah, that's all for our teams. Congratulations to all coaches who had Mons in there, and yeah, that's all for teams.
Here's the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun.
The awards that were
individual awards
voted on by the public.
Public awards, baby.
We had to make some executive decisions based on lack of consensual winner, but for the most part, I would say 90% of these.
Yeah.
They were 100% voted on by the public.
Yeah.
Like, we just had to pick in certain spots.
There's like
winner.
ones where it was like 2 votes for this one, 2 votes for this one. We just decided on what we thought was more apt. Starting off, I guess we'll start with Rookie of the Year, coach.
So we had 2 rookie coaches this year. Unlike last season, where Ryan won Rookie Coach of the Year after not getting a win just because he was the only Rookie Coach of the Year.
Yeah, shout out Ryan.
But yeah, but we had 2 really good rookie coaches this year.
Yeah, one making the finals and one breaking all the records.
So which we will get into later. Yeah. But the vote for Rookie Coach of the Year, making the finals, which I think had a big big impact on this vote, was Swamp. Coming in, going full Trick Room, had a tough little run of matches. I think he could have finished even higher in the standings, but had a great season, great first season as in the NDA. We've never really seen coaches come in and do what they did.
Nearly pulling off the Justin.
Yeah.
Here.
Hey man, it's a hard thing to do. Being as good as I am.
All right.
Hang on.
Moving on.
I won. I'm honest.
Yeah, congrats.
I won twice.
Congrats to Swamp. Great season. Fantastic season.
I expect Swamp to be the seniors London or whatever the regional is in the UK. I expect Swamp to be the champion of the next coming generation. I'm excited to see what he does competitively. But speaking of Swamp again, we can move on to the next award.
6 Man of the Year.
6 Man of the Year is an award we give to the Mon that we think had the most impact from the B and C tier. You know, those Mons that, you know, you don't really build your team around, but like they end up becoming a staple. And there was plenty of candidates. We had this. That is one of my favorite things about the NDA Draft League is we have so many like underusage Mons get so much love and so much usage, and a lot of them you wouldn't expect to be that annoying or that useful, and then they destroy your team. And you're like, all right, sure. But the vote for 6 Man of the Year went to. This was a decisive vote. Was the Purloin. Shout out Purloin, man. Like Wex said, we'll be talking about it a lot. It could have been in many categories for awards, but it was just a staple of Swamp's team and his run, and it was just an annoying little piece of shit, like I said.
Yeah, we've talked enough about Purloin. We're probably going to talk about it more later. Who knows? Tough time. We were giving
I think we know.
Too much airtime to this little cat. Next up, Free Agent of the Year. Went to the Rhyme City Rhydons and Inteleon G-Max. Coming in pretty early, but being the main damage dealer for Griff. Wasn't really a contest, considering not a lot of transactions were made, and even then, a lot of them were made too late and didn't make big enough of an impact. Inteleon was pretty clear cut in that scenario. Someone said Barraskewda for Kev, which he dropped. So,
yeah. So there were some wild answers.
I mean, to be fair, right? I did vote for Downwise because I didn't look at it properly. I didn't realize he was a free agent. He was a
It was a
pickup.
grace period.
So I mean, that was fair enough. Like, you know,
On a technicality, it
could have won,
won,
but yeah,
like,
it wasn't really.
like
It was grace period, so
it was on there from week
if it
1.
did, I feel like that would have won hands down.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, pretty decisive there for the Varsity Ride-Ons. Match of the year. There's a few votes in this one. The one that it's the only one with more than one vote.
It was,
It
yeah.
was Pearl Harbor Artillery and the Denver Numas of German Your Boy, week 5. It was David versus Goliath, 4-0 versus 0-4, or whatever it was. And Germ coming out on top. Fantastic set from German. Fantastic set from everyone involved, really. It was just a memorable match. Like, there's a few other matches during the year that caught people's eye. Like we previously mentioned, that it was a Gummy and Quartz.
Yeah, Gummy and Quartz had a shout. You and Justin had a shout week 5.
Good week.
Germ again.
Germ week
again
one,
was
Germ
Riola
week
week
one.
1.
There was a lot of memorable matches this season, which you always like to see. But yeah, this one was pretty up there with the memorability of it all. Great.
I mean, your boy was undefeated. Germ hadn't got a win yet. Your boy and Ryder were fighting for the 1 seed at the time, and Germ came through with Excadrill and just wrecked havoc, to be honest. Him and Excadrill and Vaporeon. Even game 2, your boy caught a dub because of Swoobat. Like, that's a goated beam off rip.
And Germ went from one season.
I think based off that alone,
went from one season being extremely weak to steel types to destroying someone with a steel type. So if that isn't character progression, I don't know what is. Realistically.
Yeah. Germ didn't draft 3 fairy types. He drafted Destroyer of all fairy types. So we love growth.
Speaking of Germ and this wonderful team, move on to the storyline of the year. Now, there was a few storyline shouts, like Swamp's Surge, I think, was what someone put. A few other things, like Will being good, I guess, was another one. There's a few things, but realistically, there was only...
We had I think the runner-up for best storyline of the year, in my opinion, was this wonderful vote for Saga of the Button Clickers. And that was a great vote, whoever voted for that.
But the overwhelming favorite was Ninjas.
Here we go.
Nation. I'm talking Ninjas every day of the week. My MVP, Ninjas. My defensive Pokemon of the year, Ninjas. My button click of the year, Ninjas. Free agent of the year, Ninjas. I'm talking next season, Ninjas #1 pick. I'm talking Ninjas mascot of the league. I'm talking everything. Ninjas Nation, rise up. Congratulations, Germ, and the Ninjas Nation. There's only ever going to be one winner for this storyline. I'm so proud to have started.
Yeah, I feel like we perpetuated this one, and I put it in there's a picture of it in the question. I didn't want people to forget, I had to throw it in there, so people, I feel like without that, there wasn't a great answer, and I was like, you know what, we're throwing it in there. It had to be done. Ninja Nation. It was an elite time in the NDA this season, watching Ninja Nation.
I also think an honorable mention here would also be your boy just going 9-1 first season here.
Just showing up and destroying the league.
Yeah, that's also a very credible storyline, but obviously we got to go with the funny one because we might be getting another one.
I think we'll get to your boys.
It's a podcast-based storyline, so I mean, who doesn't love a good podcast? Am I right?
Exactly.
Might be biased on that front, but I mean, yeah. Moving on. Luckiest moment of the year.
We're gonna have a live.
This is gonna be a debate. Yeah.
Do we have a? Do we replace? Do we have a luckiest moment of the year?
So our original vote.
Oh, technically that was. Well, let's see. Technically it was unluckiest, right? So, but the one we were so.
Lucky
for Will.
For Riolu.
I will for Gummy.
No, for Riolu.
I'm saying the one that we were gonna replace this with the.
Yeah.
That was technically unlucky on Gumby's part.
This one was lucky. I think we should nearly stick with this one.
Yeah, I'm down. This was voted on. Well, it had a vote anyway. The votes for this were abysmal. I can't lie. I was kind of disappointed with the coaches with their vote for their lack of effort in this category.
There was a few I don't know, or how should I? I have no clue. Stuff like that was just thrown in. My vote first was for Will versus Kev when Will accidentally double protected and it worked out directly in his favor and ended up beating Kev because of it. But that was really funny. That was really funny, and that's what got my vote. But it's not what we decided on. We decided on something against Will, who was pretty unlucky this season overall. But that was...
Yeah, his two game series versus Riolu. Game 1, his max got stalled by a 10% ice beam freeze by Frostlass, and then game 2. Yeah, turn 1 ice beam freeze, and then game 2, Riolu won with the curse body into the Mudsdale, and Will couldn't click it just couldn't click the button it wanted to click to get rid of it, and lost it. Like, RNG Frostlass showed in that game.
Frostlass built this.
Quite unfortunate.
Frostlass Vegas, I'm gonna call it now. It's so fucking lucky.
Yeah, that was... Will was he was very sad after that game. I remember, it's just like out of your control. Like, what do you do? Like, the Obstagoon was like the perfect bring and perfect Maxmon in that situation, and it didn't really get to click any buttons.
Then yeah,
I think that covers it though. I think we can move on. I don't want to move on. To this
Are you
one.
sure you want to move on? Okay, so.
We might as well. All right, button clicker of the year. I got 50% of the vote. You guys are assholes.
I thought it'd be funny to add this category this year between the Whimsicott and Meowstic clickers of the league. Will, Wex, and Justin, of course. And Justin, you're the OG button clicker. It had to be done.
Well, listen. You know it's coming. You know I'm clicking buttons. Can you beat it? Answer's
to
no.
be fair,
So
right?
Stop me.
Whoever
Go stop me.
Who won't stop me?
there was
Exactly.
8 votes or something we said, and 4 for Justin, 3 for me, and 1 was for Will. I think is the way it worked out. So, I mean,
you did click that one's Arcanine.
exactly.
So.
I mean,
The Mac
you were a whole different
I
range
would.
of
you're just a whole different button clicker, I guess. I mean, it's a good award. Button clicker typically wins the league, so I mean, fair enough. I'd rather be button clicker and win the league than not be button clicker and lose. So, the real winner, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Moving
exactly.
on. Very prestigious award coming up, and that is Coach of the Year.
Yeah, very, very prestigious award. I think it was guaranteed.
I mean,
I'm low-key. Obviously, I don't want to be a dictatorship over here, but low-key, if it didn't even win the vote, I would have made the case to change this to the vote anyway.
I mean,
because no one else deserved Coach of the Year more, in my opinion. Obviously, we had our finals. We had 2 coaches in the final. We had Justin make the championship, but your boy really just took the league over by storm.
Really just grabbed it by the scruff of the neck and just dragged us all along with him. Just destroying everyone but Germ in the regular season. Having a great first season overall. I don't think there's going to be much contentiousness about this. I think Will got 2 or 3 votes as well, so shout out Will. Realistically, your boy was our only option. Your boy dominated the votes. I think most of the league can agree with us when we say, well done, your boy. You completely deserve it.
I think if you didn't vote for him, you didn't really look at the season he had in much detail. 9-1,
some of it
25 points,
just because of the fact
breaks every record ever set before in the NDA. So
I mean, it's one of those
very, very impressive run this season, and
sort of like a playoff play.
It was kind of harsh to see him exit his first playoff game.
Sort of like a playoff.
It was on the back of some pretty good myself and Will prep, but
was like
it was harsh to see.
Yeah. Like it's only his first
that.
season. Playoff is always different. Overall, he had a great season. I don't think anyone's gonna disagree with today's coach of the year. Evan? I think Evan is after losing connection or something, so I'm just gonna keep talking. He said hello. He didn't really say much. But yeah, your boy, coach of the year, well deserved. And moving on, for the last time we're going to mention his name, defensive / supporter Pokemon of the year, goes to Purloin and Swamp's Moss Deep City Mudkips. I don't think anyone's going to have really much else to say other than Purloin here, because it's just kind of dominated league supportively, and like its playoff run was pretty dominant in the fact that not much could really stand to it defensively, supportively. And yeah, without
I think Wims and Meowstic they had a shout, but like
line.
This was a vote.
It was another vote that was dominated, realistically.
Meowstic was close, but when we sent this to the public, they voted for Purloin. So shout out Swamp again with another, and Purloin with another award win.
Yeah, I mean, pretty obvious that was going to happen. So fair play.
And our final actual award is not. We'll say like
for an
official
individual Pokemon award.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
For the third season in a row.
The last one in our outro.
The third season in a row. Most valuable Pokemon is going home to the Leinster Leafeons and Arcanine. I mean, I'm sensitive.
I mean, it was kind of given that Arcanine was going to win this award.
Or, as someone put it, bitch dog.
I think that was Will, and I appreciate
that was funny. I got a giggle out of it. Arcanine.
So yeah, 30. I mean,
he had a 2-0 or 2-1 was the set ratio with 36 and 18. It had a great year. Arcanine just don't know if it's a trend with me and just like with Yveltal, Whimsicott, and Arcanine.
Relying on one mod.
Like even I don't think it's one. I think it's like 2 or 3 that I usually rely on, because look at like Yveltal season. Megros was third or fourth in kills that year as well, and even Whimsicott wasn't really reliant out. Like Whimsicott was just too much of a good supportive mon to not give MVP to over Dracovish even, or Celesteela maybe.
Because the Cobalion and the Entei, they would come certain weeks, but like overall, like whether it was Dracovish, Entei, Whimsicott was there.
Whimsicott was always there. Whimsicott was always, even when I didn't bring like stuff like that, Whimsicott was always the one who was facilitating everything. Like Whimsicott just had too good of a year to not give it MVP. This year is Arcanine had the best kills to set ratio since Celesteela season 3.
I mean, it had the most kills. It had the most kills.
Most kills in a season and best ratio since Celesteela season 3. Season 3. Hear that Corewords had it, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Corewords had it season 3.
That's the last time that. Yeah, I have won MVP now in half of the seasons. But still have only got one championship, so I mean, I don't know really what else to say about that. Yeah, happy about Arcanine. But yeah, we can go on to our final award, and I think this is a very nice award to have.
This is this will tie into our outro. I just want to go on like a little monologue here and say that this is, I brought it up earlier, but this is sort of mostly the end of the NDA in Sword and Shield. Ridge started in Sword and Shield, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful ride. The podcast has been amazing, meeting everyone in the league, becoming friends, playing Pokemon, obviously. It's been one hell of a ride, and it all started through Sword and Shield, but more importantly, it all started through the GOAT himself, Ryder. Ryder has been we run this podcast and we help with admin work, but for the most part, I would say, especially at the beginning. Ryder has held down and facilitated this wonderful experience for all of us, and we would not be where we are.
Is that when we're in?
Like running this league, or even like in our lives. I feel like the league has impacted us that much, and it's all shouts out to Ryder, absolute GOAT of a man. He just holds down the fort, and Ryder's just a GOAT, and there's no other way to explain it other than.
I mean, I feel like I can speak for us all. Like when we say like, making of this league has opened up a lot of things for us. Like, socially, like meeting everyone. Like I would say, like Kev, Justin, Ryder, three of my closest friends right now. I tell them most things. Like it's a really nice social. Like just in general. Like, I wouldn't have met these people if it wasn't for Ryder setting up the league, inviting me in season 1, having a great experience with it all, making the podcast, spending a lot of time talking shit at like 3 a.m. to these guys. Like, just been a great experience, and Sword and Shield in general was like heightened. I'd stopped playing Sword and Shield for a while, but then I came back to it once I started playing this again, and it'll forever hold a special place in my heart. Winning season 5 was obviously a big moment of league for me, and
we've all had our moments in the spotlight, but that doesn't even come close.
We've all had a moment.
The overall,
like Ryder setting up league to begin with, giving us this outlet that, like, whereas like we might be working or we might be in school, might have some stuff going on in general with our lives, being able to always come here, talk to the guys, or just in general.
Especially during
lockdown,
COVID times, man. Yeah, lockdown. This league, low key, like
stuff was tough for us all, and I think all of us can really say that it wasn't a great time of any of our lives, but having the outlet of the league just to get our minds away from all this shitty stuff that was happening in the world, like it's great. And without Ryder being there, I'm not sure things would have planned out for us all, realistically. Like, just been
we wouldn't be here right now talking about Pokemon, being able to be in the 6th season, like finishing up the 6th season of the NDA. Like, this would have never happened without Ryder. He's been so influential in trying to, get everybody together, being definitely one of the top tier just coaches in general in the league. I mean, I'll say from personal experience, he's my kryptonite whenever I see him in playoffs or just in the regular season in general. I don't think I have a winning record against this guy. He's just too good. He's always there. He's always, with the docs, whether it be there or with prep or etc. Just being a good friend, playing Unite, those sorts of things. Like, the league wouldn't be the same without Ryder, and that is why he's definitely the most deserving of the GOAT award. Whether it's Chihuahua Ryder, whether it's Playoff Ryder, whether it's just normal Ryder.
There's the man, the myth, the legend, Brandon. Like, as a human, he's just top tier. I
had the pleasure of meeting him in person, going to Milwaukee, and it was a top tier experience. Something that I never thought would happen. Meeting up with someone you meet online that lives across the country, was an unbelievable experience, and will hopefully happen again traveling this year. Shout out Pokémon for being the outlet for a lot of things. And
I mean, I feel like we've all made like so much connections in this. Like, even like, so if people aren't in the league anymore, like Ballhawk or Mac now to some extent, with Mac going into this league.
Shout out Ballhawk's prep doc for a sec. That thing is so good for singles.
Man knows. Literally, Ballhawk's prep doc is top tier. If you don't have Ballhawk's prep doc, look in the media channels or whatever it is. Ballhawk's prep doc is top tier. Like, without that,
Ballhawk's he's like an admin in like every VGC draft league across the board, like, just because of his doc work. Like, he only plays in like 1 or 2 of them, but he's like an admin and a very large member of the community.
Fritz and Ballhawk met at a regional, didn't they?
Yeah, they both met it. I sadly fumbled the bag and didn't go, but Quartz and Ballhawk both went to NAIC, the North American International Championship. I thought you needed like points. I was a bit of a tournament noob at this point, and didn't realize that you could just sign up. I thought you needed points, like qualification points, to go to NAIC, and you clearly didn't. So I fumbled the bag, but yeah, they met, and it was very cool. There's a picture somewhere in the group chat. In a Discord group chat.
Like, in general, like, I made so much connections with everyone here. It's been a pretty special experience. Like, personally, meeting so much American friends is a bit odd. Like, considering, like, I'm Irish, like...
How much did you shit on us?
This season we like having swamped someone from the UK is like, oh my god, there's someone from the UK here. Can't believe it. It's like so used to like nowadays. So used to checking my phone in the middle of the night, like, oh, I wonder what the guys are getting up to. It's like fucked up my sleep schedule completely. I don't know, like nowadays I can calculate Eastern time to like GMT like that, because I'm like, what time's it now? Oh, it's that time for the guys, they're not up. Or stuff like that. Like, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, little routine stuff you don't even realize
like,
you're doing.
Or someone, like, even stuff like watching American football games, like, oh, what time is that on? Oh, it's on at like 8. Okay, so that's 1:20 for me. I'm like, it just happens in my head. I'm like, wait a second, why is that thing in my head nowadays? It's because of these guys. Yeah. Hopefully, one day, we'll get the opportunity to meet up. It will happen eventually.
Dude, it's happening. It's 100% happening.
It's just been a great experience in this league, and I'm probably rambling on for a bit now, but I don't really care. Last episode of the season, we can go a bit long. Like, even people like Rooster, who were in the league before, just meeting guys like that. Fair enough, we had our disagreements about optimal plays, stuff like that, but it's a great experience. Like, it's fun in the moment. Stuff you never forget, and yeah, I'll just like it all comes back to Ryder in the end, like being there in the league. And like, fair enough, the three of us have kind of taken charge of the league at some stage this year when Ryder busy, and like we had a talk with Ryder before, and like he said how grateful he was for us, whatever else, but it was just a little thanks that we could do. It's the least we could do for him after all he's done for us, really. Like,
yeah. That's the best way to put it.
Like, Ryder had tough times, so we stepped up. Like, it's not like we did it for something. We did it just because it's not like the last couple of seasons of Ryder, like the first couple of seasons, Ryder did all the stuff himself. And that was like, we look at the amount of work that goes into this league and we're like, Jesus Christ, between three of us, it's hard enough. Some of the stuff takes so much work.
Like, we miss things. Like, all the dog work is not that he did by himself the first couple seasons.
Like, I do a decent amount of it this season. Like, I set up the whole doc this season, but it's Ryder's template. And if I had any problems with it, I'd text Ryder, and Ryder had to back to me straight away, like, what was wrong? Like, Ryder just didn't have the time to do it all, which was fair, so I did it for him. But Ryder did all that by himself in the first season. Even for the first, like...
Yeah, he did all the legwork for us. We just know how to operate the dock as it now stands. But I mean, to get it to this point, it's all been Ryder. So we don't really deserve that much credit. I mean, keeping updated, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but getting everybody involved, being able to be a leader in that sense, whether or not he likes being a leader or not. I mean, Ryder is seen as one. Because he's able to get everyone together. He was able to, create this league and be able to really create a great environment for everyone to play Pokemon, have this outlet, especially during COVID.
He's always been particular who he accepts, doesn't want just people. Like, we've seen in other leagues that we've been in. I'm not going to name names, but like, we've seen in other leagues we've been in, things can get a bit toxic. Things have never really been toxic in this server, really. Like, it's always nice, it's always like welcoming, and like, even when we were recruiting for this season, Ryder didn't want to just let anybody in. He wanted to see what they were like, see how they were like. People like Swamp, like just were let in because of how nice they were, how talkative they were, how like just engaged they were. And we had our not our doubts, but even at start of season with your boy, like he didn't talk as much at the start of the year, but he's like slowly come into it and slowly talked more. It's just been a nice experience for us all. Not letting in people like who just show up to games, sometimes go AWOL. Like it's just a great environment that he's created, and forever truly grateful for him. I don't think he knows sometimes how much he means to us all, and I think I can speak for everyone in, not even on the podcast, but everyone in the league, like how much this man means to us all. Like if there was a most valuable person award, they would go to Ryder every season. So yeah, I think
well, that's what this award is.
Literally.
There wasn't even another option to vote for. Like, it's just,
and as much Justin will say he's robbed, there's only really ever going to be one winner. Yeah, I think I don't have much else to talk about on the last podcast of the season.
I will say this. Hopefully we can get a Ryder to not to come on the podcast, but to talk to him about updating the statistics for the. So at the end of the year, we all put in. Well, we don't all put in, but all of the statistics that are written down for kills, wins, et cetera, for different coaches. They all get put into this massive doc that keeps track of playoff status, standings, et cetera.
You're going to be above me now, aren't you?
So maybe
in the case of regular season, I might be ahead of you. Still.
Yeah, but it also I think it counts postseason as well.
Mean you.
So there'll be a doc that's made available.
You guys might catch up to me. You guys might be close. I kind of had a very Ryder and me were like neck and neck. He definitely pulled away. And you guys might be close, especially Justin after playoff win.
But I mean, I widened the gap last season because I had a better playoff performance. So it's probably back to you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I might make a start on that eventually. Like I have college work to do, like now. That's in like in the Fort Wall here. I have college work to do straight after this. But if I get some time, I can start on it.
Just for transferring data and stuff like that. But just to the listeners that are still with us right now, we'll be making sure that doc gets updated, and then we'll send out a ping and alert so that you guys can see where you're at, etc. Compared to other coaches that have participated in the league, what your win percentage is, playoff statistics, things like that. That's all going to be put up there. That's all going to be available for you guys to see. There's not a set time, obviously, because we're all very busy with real life stuff, but that will be coming out, and probably within a month of the updated statistics, hopefully before Scarlet and Violet gets released, because I know everybody will be too preoccupied with Scarlet and Violet to actually give a shit about statistics anymore. But yeah, that's I think that's it for me. So I'll wrap it up here, and if you guys want to say more things, because I have a phone call I have to have with some networking opportunities for my professional career. So if you guys don't have anything else further to say, I will wrap it up right now. But thank you guys so much for an amazing season. It's always a pleasure to play an NDA and to be a part of this league with every single one of you guys. All the interactions. Just know that we on the podcast don't take them for granted. We appreciate every single one of you and your contribution to the league, making it competitive, making it fun, making it a great place for everybody to compete, participate, and enjoy a shared love of Pokemon, specifically competitively. So thank you guys so much for being with us, and hopefully we'll see a lot of your faces coming forward for Season 7 when we do have that. And we will be having an off season, but we will decide that eventually in the future. But for now, that does it for me. If you guys want to tack on anything else at the very end, but that does it for me. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for hearing all of us talk. And even though, some of us talking isn't necessarily the brightest of opinions, like Kev with his brunette opinion. We enjoy doing this. We enjoy doing this for you guys. We enjoy doing this for ourselves. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Can't say it enough. And we will catch you guys next season when we have Scarlet and Violet released and a new meta to adjust to play, and hopefully to win. So thank you guys so much, and that does it for me.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I feel like overall throughout all our podcast episodes, Justin isn't even here to defend himself now. I think Brunette's totally. I think they totally. Brunette's totally won.
I mean, like I've been like the middleman between us all. Like I've swayed back and forth, and like, well, my most recent endeavor, was a brunette. I'm low key. I sense a new opportunity on the horizon that may or may not be swinging back to blondes. But yeah, you can continue.
And also back to what he said. He said about the competitiveness, and I feel like we didn't even touch on that. Thank you everyone for, like Justin said, for being involved. For like, it's so appreciated. Like the league isn't what it is without everyone's commitment. But also the competitiveness of this season was really much appreciated. I mean, not for my record or anything or my playoff runs. That the competitive wasn't really appreciated. The competitiveness wasn't really appreciated there, but as a whole, like it's awesome to see everyone get better and the league get so much more competitive. With so many great results, so many upsets, a lot of parity in the league. And a lot of new coaches coming in doing really well. People coming in, getting their feet in the ground, finally getting comfortable with their draft, using really cool strategies across the season. So it's only going to get better, more and more, bigger and better things as we move into Scarlet Violet. So thank you all for that. And yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for dealing with us, dealing with me. I hope I've tried to make the league as positive as an experience for everyone possible. And yeah, that is it for me. Thank you so much. And Lex can sign us out.
Yeah, just to like reiterate on stuff that the guys have said, like it's been a pleasure this season just to be a part of the league, how competitive it is. It's really been a treat. Personally, like Justin said, just the sense of community is really good and all the interactions don't go unappreciated. Like, the podcast is my baby. Like, coming up a couple of seasons ago, scrapping Game of the Week in favor of the podcast, like trying to make it more sociable, make more of a sense of a community is something that I always wanted to do with the league, and being able to use the podcast as a platform to do it has been really fun. Even when I'm not here, sometimes edited every episode except for one, like just in general the memes that come out of it, stuff like Ninja Nation came out of it. I really like spending an hour, or in this case probably like 2 hours at this stage. I don't know how long this episode's gone on for. Just talking to the guys. Really been good. And yeah, like as I said, this podcast is my baby. It's been an absolute pleasure to run it for the last couple of years, for the last couple of seasons even. Yeah, like it means a lot. Like plus, like probably about 40 episodes at this stage. I don't really know how much episodes there's been. Let me just take a quick look. There's roughly 47, 45 episodes between that. Yeah, like it means a lot to me. Just the interactions, the little comments, the likes, the impacts in the discussion channel. Like seeing that just makes all the work so much worth it. Seeing the community we've built here, getting guests on, like anyone who's ever been a guest or anyone who still hasn't been a guest, but we're still looking forward to getting everyone on. Like it's really brought us all closer together, and I'm really grateful to have had that opportunity to do it with you guys. Season was a great season. Had a bit of a blip at the end of the year. Obviously, competitiveness didn't really go in our favor, mine and Kev's especially. But look, it's fantastic to see.
We will be back.
We'll be back. Looking forward to next season, next year. Love the NDA podcast. Won't stop here. Scarlet and Violet just around the corner in a month or two. Really looking forward to what Game Freak and Nintendo have to put up to us. Hopefully, competitive will be good with new neutralization. Lots of meta stuff to dive into. lots of work to do, but I really can't wait for it. An absolute pleasure, guys, in the podcast. On behalf of everyone here at the podcast, or anyone who's ever been to the podcast, thank you so much for listening. Really, really means a lot to us all. And yeah, guess we'll see you in a month or two. So, without further ado, last time this season, thank you so much for watching the podcast. And yeah, we will catch you guys eventually in the next one. Peace.
Peace.